Back with us on a Friday, John Morris Show, presented by Alliance Bank Central Texas and by the Brazos Landing. And if you were with us last Friday, we had an interview with Ty Atteberry, former Baylor punter, who has his boat, the Waymaker, on a transatlantic trip to get to the British Virgin Islands. So let's check in with Ty again today, a week, 8 days in. Look at that shot. Nobody on any show is going to have a better shot than that right there of you. Thanks to Starlink, and thanks to you for making it work. How are things going?
Oh, it's going well. Yeah, I think we said it this morning. It doesn't suck out here. So that's it's pretty nice out here today.
Oh, that's good that you can appreciate what you have there. How have things gone? Any weather issues over the last week, or have things gone pretty smooth?
Yeah, things have been pretty smooth. Yesterday we lost our wind, so we had to motor a lot, but it's back today. We got our sail out here in front of me now. I'm actually on watch, so I'm at the helm here. Making sure there's not any boats, which I think we've seen one boat in the last 48 hours. So it's you feel pretty lonely out here.
Yeah. That's an interesting point. How many other boats have you passed in the last week, I guess?
Yeah. So in the last week, we've probably counted less than 10. But if you look at, there's a system called AIS. Every boat has a tracking system.
Okay.
And when you look at it, there's thousands of boats.
Really?
I mean, you look at it, it looks like a Christmas tree as far as they're green and red, but you don't see any of it. It just kind of gives you an idea how vast the ocean is. There's a bunch of boats out here, but you don't see them.
That's pretty amazing. So when the wind's right, you'll use sail power, and if you don't have a wind, you turn on the engine, the motor?
That's correct. So which is nice because it heats up the water, which means you can actually take a hot shower. So we like it when we have to run the engines every once in a while.
I gotcha. For a hot shower. That's great.
For a hot shower.
Okay, we got a picture we want to throw up when I ask you, how's the fishing been? There you go.
Well, I'd like to say it's been great, but it's been one and done so far. So we've got the line. We've got the lines back in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had this mahi, which is an incredible fish to eat. So we had that for dinner last night, which was really nice.
That's terrific. But that's the one, huh?
That's the one so far. So we're not quite in the fishing waters yet. We're in colder water right now. So as we get further north and it gets warmer, it's a little bit better fishing.
Okay, that's a good fish story. I'm buying that, Ty. Yeah, good. But again, and we talked about this last week, you brought enough provisions to take care of yourself on a 35, 40-day trip.
That's correct. And the boat's got a water maker on it, so we're constantly making fresh water, which is nice. A lot of the boats, 10, 15 years ago didn't have water makers on them, so you also had to be very careful about your water. We're fortunate we've got a water maker, so we can take a shower and create new fresh water each day.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought about that really, but you're in, you're in the ocean, but you need some fresh water for a lot of things, don't you?
Absolutely. It's one of the, I would say, technologies that's really come a long way in the last 10 or 15 years. And it really makes doing this type of thing a lot more enjoyable. You talk to the old sailors and they would, live off of like 3 liters a day of water and not shower for days. So it's much nicer having fresh water on board. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. The water maker on the Waymaker. I like that. You gotta have that. So can you give us a sense of where you are right now that we would understand?
So we're still, I would say, off the coast of South Africa. We've traveled about 1,200 miles. We're averaging about 150 miles a day. We've got over 5,000 nautical miles to go. Oh, here's a great picture. So that little blue dot is where we're at right now.
Nice.
We left kind of down at the southern tip of South Africa. And then we've got to go way up there Well, you can kind of see Cuba up there in the top left. The British
Right.
Virgin Islands are to the east of Cuba, over by St. John and St. Thomas.
Nice. That map really helps. Well done. So you say along the coast, but you're pretty far out. I mean, you're not hugging the coast at all.
We're not. We're quite a ways from the coast.
Right, right. That kind of states the obvious there.
Yeah.
And how far do you go up until you cut away from the coast?
Yeah, so we're heading on a waypoint to St. Helena, which is about another 500 nautical miles north west of where we're at now.
Okay.
Once we get there, then we'll make a hard kind of cut west towards South America, towards Brazil.
Gotcha.
And then we'll catch some more trade winds and currents and kind of go up the coast of South America. And that'll lead us into kind of the Caribbean islands. And then we'll start bouncing along the Caribbean islands until we get up to the British Virgin Islands.
Man, how about that? All right. And you and the crew, everybody doing well? No seasickness or anything?
No, it got me the first night, but I've been good. I've been good ever since.
The first night you had some weather, didn't you? I mean, right after y'all left port.
We did. We kind of had a tight weather window that we were trying to get out of Cape Town before it got worse. And yeah, it got me good. I didn't quite get my sea legs until probably the second or third day.
Oh, man. Well, I hope smooth sailing the rest of the way. Let's show our viewers a couple other pictures that you sent. Just terrific sunrises, sunsets. Look at that. You get to see that every day, don't you?
Pretty much. It's pretty amazing being out here. I'll tell you, John, you have a lot of time to think,
right,
while you're out here, but it's amazing being in God's creation and seeing everything that He made. We had a school of dolphin flying past us the other day. We had some whales on the other side of us, and yeah, it's amazing. Just being out here at night, it's actually one of my favorite times because it's just quiet. You hear the wind. Last night, it felt like we were sailing into the moon. It was right in front of us, and we just couldn't quite catch it. It was beautiful.
Oh, man. That's, you're seeing and doing some things that very few people get to do. And only out in the middle of the ocean would you get to see and do those things. That is so cool.
That's, it's one of the reasons why I set up this Waymaker Voyages. My youngest son actually sent me a Bible study last night that he's been working on about being intentional. Yeah. And I wish I could say I was very intentional my entire life, but like many of us, I got caught up chasing, things in the world and kind of the corporate ladder. And anyways, it's time to be intentional. I've set up Waymaker Voyages for those that want to have an intentional vacation to spend time with their family and be purposeful about what they're wanting to do. And so that's part of this voyage for me, and kind of my own journey and some of the things I've learned and trying to share that with others.
I love that, man. I love that. That is so cool. If people want to follow along, besides our check-ins with you, Facebook, is that the best way, or is there any other way?
Yeah, Facebook's probably the best. I'm getting up to speed on social media on Facebook, so I've got a Facebook page for Waymaker Voyages, but then my own personal Facebook page. And so I'm kind of posting on there. I'm also posting on LinkedIn. That's kind of the corporate world's version of Facebook. Okay. And that's the world I've lived in for the last 30 years. So I'm posting on LinkedIn and I'm posting on Facebook.
All right, very good. Thanks for that. And our folks can keep up with you that way. I'll give you an update from solid ground here in Waco. Spring football practice began this week, and they had 2 days. They had Tuesday and Thursday, and they'll practice again tomorrow. So we're going through spring practice here in Waco. I'm sure you have very fond memories of those days when you were here.
Absolutely. No, it's this is always a fun time of year, especially football. I saw that you had Coach Ford on too right before this, honoring Coach Hart. And I was fortunate. My oldest son and his wife both ran track at Baylor, so I totally agree. You should get out there and go to the Clyde Hart Classic. It's a wonderful time to get out and just be Baylor athletics. This is a great time of year.
Very cool. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Well, thanks for your time, and thanks for the view there. That's a view we're not going to see from anybody but you today. And safe sailing. Blessings on you and your crew. And if you don't mind, we may check in with you again next week.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks, John.
Have a great day.